Having a bit of a chat today with Ben just about the daily operation and what goes on out here.
I'm third generation pickle farmer. My dad and grandfather sort of started the business, started farming gherkins back in the 80s.
These are filled with brine, aren't they?
Yeah, so the way it works is 24 tonne of cucumber, of fresh gherkins in a tank, and then you put a lid on top and fill it with salt brine, and then that starts the fermentation process, which is a 4 to 6 week process. The wheat, you know, we grow, if we sell it to Manildra, they use some of the byproducts to make the cardboard that we pack the pickles into. You know, that's circular economy. The canola, you know, it's sold to Grain Corp. It goes to McDonald's, who use it in the fryers for the chips and stuff like that. Year on year, we were able to improve yields. And last year, so 2025 harvest, we hit our record, and it was a 12 tonne average.
Wow. Hi, I'm John from Seraphim Machinery. I'm out here with Ben Parle for Parle's, best known as Parle's Pickles or Parle's Gherkins. Having a bit of a chat today with Ben just about the daily operation and what goes on out here, and have a bit of a chat also about some of the machinery you're currently using from Seraphim's.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I guess a bit of background on the family. So I'm third generation pickle farmer. My dad and grandfather sort of started the business, started farming gherkins back in the 80s for the processor at the time.
And what was the decision for gherkins back then?
Actually, there was a few growers around the area doing it. So there was sort of, I don't know, there might have been 20 or 30 growers around Australia, and they were all supplying Heinz Waddy, who were the processor at the time, freighting the fresh cucumbers down to Dandenong to process. And they sort of had a tank yard and all the processing line down there.
And the product wasn't going to McDonald's back then?
That was for McDonald's, yeah. So that was in the 80s. McDonald's have been in Australia for over 50 years now. And they've always prioritised the local supply chain. But yeah, Heinz were doing that. We were supplying the fresh cucumbers. And the reason there were so many growers was because everything was hand-picked. So the average farm was about 2 hectares. And, you know, you'd have a bunch of pickers walking through the fields with buckets, and you pay them $3 a bucket. And
slow, labour intensive.
Yeah, that's right. I think my dad, his first crop, he hand weeded. You know, like the blocks were that small, you could sort of get away with that.
That would have been the suppering, wouldn't it? The old Italian style?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he reckons on his 30th birthday, I think he hand weeded his first pickle crop. But they sort of got into this. They previously were struggling, sort of rice and wheat growers. Yes. And he had this dream to develop the world's first machine harvester. So there was nothing at the time. And so he sort of worked on it for a couple of years. He had like a team of welders, and you know, they'd have like these machines. They build the chassis, and they had a big V8 engine on it, open cab, you know, probably 1 bed wide, like. Yes. And so they'd sort of drive down the paddock, have the engine revving off its head. They'd go in to start picking, and something would break, and all the pickers would laugh, and they'd go back to the shed and weld it up and race back down the paddock. So the goal for the picker driver was to try and pick more than or pick as much as what the hand pickers were doing. And they were never able to sort of do it. But after a couple of years, so we're talking the late 80s, the federal government was bringing in the tax file number. And so a lot of these pickers, they're sort of cash in hand, you know, they're probably on the dole or whatever. So one day he's got 100 pickers, and the next day they're going to have 3, probably. And so he said to the welders, he's like, boys, we're going to stay here all night, and we're going to make this machine pick in the morning. And so sure enough, they stayed there, they got it working, and then they were machine harvesting, the first in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then from there, the 2 hectare farm, he can then plant 100, 150 hectares, and it just sort of
become a lot more efficient.
Yeah, and it blew everybody else away, you know, all the other growers. So we quickly became the biggest grower in Australia. Then in 1990, McDonald's and Heinz had a falling out over the quality. And so Dad had been down to Dandenong and seen the facility, seen the factory and everything. And he suggested some improvements. And being a big corporate, they were like, you know, what do you know?
Yeah, arrogance and
all that. And they were sort of happy to let the business go. McDonald's were going to import from America the finished product, the sliced pickles. So Mum and Dad are going to lose their business, right? So Dad's gone to the Heinz board of directors and he said, I think I can process. Can I have your blessing? And they laughed at him. They said, you know, you're just a dumb farmer from Griffith. Go make a fool of yourself if you want. You know?
knock yourself out.
So again, a bit of arrogance there, but so he went to McDonald's and he's hassling McDonald's, you know, and the CEO at the time, a guy named Peter Ritchie, he said, Tony, you sound like a nice bloke, but who the fuck are you? You know, no one knew who he was. And he's, you know, I'm your biggest grower and I can process, I can do this. And they gave him a crack and they brought a couple processors over from the US. And a guy, Denny Kruger, who I met a few times, and I've been to their factory in California. They're massive, but they still do it. He had a good relationship with my dad, and sort of they sold the vision to Macca's, and McDonald's were like, okay, we'll give you 30% of the market. And Dad had no money, you know, he was broke. Mum and Dad lived in an old farmhouse, and so he sort of got, you know, loans and gathered up every.
And that's always the challenge for that generation. They've got great ideas. They know how to get the product to the market. But it's the money.
The money.
The money.
So I had to scrape together every penny he had, basically, and my grandparents and that. And they were basically bringing the tanks into the tank yard, dropping them in and filling them on the same day. And they, you know, they got cucumbers going into these tanks, and they're drilling holes in the tank to sort of put the lids on and everything all in the same day. It was absolute chaos. But they got their first samples to McDonald's, and McDonald's was like, this is great. You can have 100% of the market, you know? So he was like, oh, okay.
So how many stores?
I just needed advance on a few orders.
What year was that?
That was 1990.
How many stores do you reckon they would have had back then in Australia?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, well, now they've got about 1,100, I think. So you'd probably be looking at the one or 200, I'd say. Yeah, because they do about 30 new stores every year.
And also, I'd assume back then, the process of producing a burger and getting it to the customer was a lot slower than what it is today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the market's definitely grown. Like I've seen it in my time. So, yeah, I've been in the business 18 years myself. So we've been supplying since 1990, so 36 years. So, yeah, I've now been there half the time, which is cool. Even though Dad always is like, oh, you wouldn't know this, but, you know, or before your time.
Whatever, Dad.
I've been around for a while, Dad. All right? Relax. So it is different. But, yeah, actually our last 12 months was the biggest we've ever had. So there definitely is some growth. Like, we worked it out last week that in the past 12 months, we've sold McDonald's 2.1 million kilograms of pickles in 1 year.
So that's just supply and demand, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there was
the store, all the stores.
There's more stores, like, and I guess they expand into newer areas, so they're getting more customers. But you know, they have to be on their business, like. If they're down, then we'll be down. So we're like, we're one customer, one product. We used to supply other fast food restaurants, but unfortunately they're happy with whoever's cheapest on the day. So if Sri Lanka or India are cheaper, oh well, you're too expensive, we'll go there. You know, whereas McDonald's really prioritise that local supply chain. That's probably something people don't really.
The question that I ask is, like you said, they're your one and only customer. So therefore, all your infrastructure is built around them. So I would assume there'd be contracts in place to protect you, give you some longevity.
A bit of a handshake agreement. They're a bit old school.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Wow.
But there's there's obviously like an honesty policy, I suppose. Yeah.
And as long as you're producing the product that they want,
that's right, to their standard.
there's no reason for them to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story, Ben. And it's a privilege to hear it as well. And you just don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know these stories.
No, you don't. I was at Wagga yesterday. They had a new restaurant opening, and
what's that, number 6, 7?
It is for Wagga. I think it's number 5.
5.
Yeah, 5, and then the owners, the Achinger family, they own Temora as well.
Yes.
But yeah, they invited me and a bunch of other, there was
suppliers.
Wheat growers,
yeah,
and
nice,
the chicken guys and beef guys, and what they wanted to highlight was the amount of product that comes out of the Riverina.
Yeah, wow.
And like, even I'm a grower myself, and I didn't even realise how much that they were talking about it. 100% of the wheat for McDonald's is from the Riverina. 100% of the canola for the canola oil.
Yes.
A lot of the beef, and I think all the chicken comes out of the Hamwood plant.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, the Hamwood plant.
Right.
80 bee doubles a day go into there every day. 80 bee doubles.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's crazy.
It's
all
the
from
feed
our
through.
area.
Yeah.
And they talk about the food bowl of Australia, and it's so true, And McDonald's, you look at their supply chain, and it's clear,
Yes. But unfortunately, that story, it doesn't get out if you don't have these conversations. That's the sad part about it.
That's right. You think, McDonald's an American corporation, they'll pull it in from wherever, but it's really not like that. They, when they first went into Russia, they went over years before and taught the growers how to grow the wheat to make the buns that they needed and all this stuff. So
they put a huge investment into that potential market.
Local supply chain, security, all that stuff is a real priority. And they demand a premium product from us, but we can supply, it's fully Aussie. All the ingredients are Aussie, and that means a lot to them. Yeah, so we can go see the pickle line as well inside if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll start at the farm. So we got the pickle crop. We'll go have a look at that after.
And what's the timeline for a pickle crop?
60 days.
60 days.
It's pretty short.
Yeah.
It's
from seed to harvest, 60 days.
Seed to harvest, 60 days. Wow. Yeah, and in this sort of weather, it's even quicker. It can be down to 55.
Right. And you do this all year round?
No. Summer crop only.
Summer crop.
Yep. So we need the heat.
Yes.
We like the heat. We like just the wind probably is not ideal. But,
it has been windy this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. We find if you get down below 8 degrees, so coming into April when you get those cooler nights, that's when you start seeing the plant sort of shutting down. So ideally, you get a nice warm summer.
So far the conditions have been perfect?
So far, yeah. It's, this week's been a little bit hot, but we live in Australia, so it happens.
That's what I keep saying. We are now in summer, and this is Australia, and we're in the West, wild West.
Wild West, yeah. So just here we got our grading line. So it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but we'll clean it up, ready for next week. So we harvest in the field, and then we bring our chaser bins back here, tip in this big bin here, and then all the fruit gets metered through some cleaning machines, fans, and whatever. We go up here, and these machines are our graders. So they're set to McDonald's specification, which is 1 to 2 inches or 25 to 50 millimeter diameter slice is what they're chasing. So the oversize goes out to a truck, which is cattle feed, and then everything in spec goes up onto a sorting table, gets sorted by a few humans there. Then we go up this conveyor here, and then we've got old World War II, I don't know if they're World War II, but old Ford Blitzer army trucks that we modified, and that's from, again,
Yeah,
the gear we made up, the creative days. So early on in the business, they got they were troop carriers actually.
Oh, okay.
So they carried soldiers on the back. So they cut all the back cage off and put hoppers and then a big conveyor. So it looks like a big missile launcher.
Yeah, okay.
And those conveyors are set to the same height as our tanks.
Yes.
So the fruit will go up, fill the truck, then we weigh the truck,
Yes.
drive it over the tank, fill the tank, and there's about 4 truckloads to a tank. So a tank holds 24 tons.
24 tons, yeah. So question, just going back to your yield, so now you're at 6 tonne an acre.
A hectare,
6 tonne a hectare. And you've got to grade, to grade it.
Yes, so that's graded tons.
Oh, that's graded tons.
Yeah, so that's not including the cattle feed.
So my question is...
If you included the oversize, it would be heaps more.
Okay, 6 tonne graded, okay.
All right. Yeah, so now we're at 12. So, but the waste is unavoidable, unfortunately. You get a split fruit set sort of, some comes in
marked or something.
Yeah, each flower is sort of not exactly on the same day. But anyway, we'll go have a look. We can walk up here, have a look at the tanks.
These are filled with brine, aren't they?
Yeah, so the way it works is 24 tonne of cucumber, of fresh gherkins in a tank, and then you put a lid on top and fill it with salt brine, and then that starts the fermentation process, which is a 4 to 6 week process. Yeah. So like back in the day, you know, we didn't have these walkways. Everything was on a ladder. So this is the unglamorous part of the business, what we like to say, because these tanks are like still an agricultural product. They're long-term storage. So the amount of salt in here is, the water is saltier than ocean water. Basically. So once it's 4 to 6 weeks, they ferment, and then they can stay in here for up to 2 years. Wow. We try and only keep about 12 months stock. Each summer we grow enough to do 12 months to supply the whole of Australia. And then throughout the year, we can empty these tanks out and we bring them around to our other shed where we process them. So we're washing, slicing and packaging into 1 kilo packs. When they're coming out of here, we do that all year round. So we run the other line all year round. And we drop the salt level, we add water and sort of dilute it enough so that it's fit for human consumption. So in these tanks, you can't sort of reach in, grab a pickle and mung down on it. It'd be that salty, make you sick. So, but they have to be in here like that for the long-term storage.
So who supplies your salt?
Cheatham, I think. I'm not sure whereabouts they are exactly.
How much salt would you use?
We use a lot of salt. Bloody heaps. But salt, vinegar, heaps. So
you can smell the vinegar too. It's
nice.
That's the European side of me.
Yeah. So we can go have a look at the factory as well if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the warehouse. So this is all the finished product. We average about 75 pallets a week that we sell. If you do the maths, there's sort of on how many slices are in a bag, and then how many bags are in a box, how many boxes on a pallet.
How many slices in a bag? 28 or something?
210.
Oh, 210.
Yeah.
Because they're 1 kilo.
They're 1 kilo, yeah. They're 1.5 with the brine, the cover brine. But if you work out what we sell, it makes like over 2 million burgers a week for Australia. So back what we were talking about earlier, they were saying there's 400 tonne of produce from the Riverina per week that supplies McDonald's. It's pretty crazy. And that'd be impressive if it was a year, but it's per week. So it's like, I don't know, 17,000 tonne of produce from, the wheat, the canola,
and you know what?
Chicken, the beef, and the pickles.
You know what? That's only going to grow because no doubt McDonald's are looking for growth. They'll open up more stores. Yeah. Australia's population is growing.
Yep. Yeah. It's pretty impressive, eh? Anyway, so yeah, there's probably enough stock in here for maybe 4 weeks to supply Australia, and then we'll be empty. So we always need to be running the line.
So your planning has to be very, very precise, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got some good people in
Yeah,
admin, fortunately. So we'll just have to put our hair nets on.
Yep. Obviously, that's your slicer there.
So they come in whole, and then you've got a sorter up the top. He'll be taking out any broken fruit or anything and that's an issue. Then it drops down into the slicer as a whole gherkin, and then it comes through in that nice pickle chip that we want. And then all the slice will go up the top here in these buckets. This machine's called a sheeter. It's a multi-head combination weigher. So each bucket has load cells, and it'll weigh the fruit, come up with a combination to make 1 kilo and drop it down into the bagger. Yeah. And then you've got, half a kilo of brine in there as well.
And how long have you had this system for?
So this was in 2008 we started this system. We've upgraded all the machines in the meantime. But
and where's this machine manufactured?
So the sheeter's made in Japan, and then the ProPack bagging machine, vertical form, fill and seal, they call them. It's made in Sydney. It's made in Sydney, Australian company. Yeah, really good. So that's pretty much it. And then we go sort of outside. So there's a human here packing the box. Then we've got our gluer, and this machine here is a palletizer. So it stacks all the boxes onto a pallet. So we used to have a human doing that originally, but my dad got this Fiber King palletizer out of an old nappy sand factory and actually gave it to him for free because all the computer was all fried and everything. So he then programmed the PLC to run the whole machine and set it up for our product. So it saved us one human, and it's been going for 15 years. Anyway, we'll go have a look at the farm if you want, and go get the roller going and all that. Yeah, cool.
So standing here in a gherkin field.
Yeah, first time.
First time, yeah. How far into the growth cycle is this, Ben?
Nearly ready for harvest, so we're sort of at the end of flowering. I mean, we can jump down and we can see some small fruit on here. So you've got sort of your cucumber, gherkin. So gherkin, cucumber turns into a pickle. A gherkin is an immature variety of cucumber that's designed for the pickling process. Yeah. People always ask, what's the difference between a gherkin and a pickle?
Pickling is the process.
Pickling is the process.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So these ones, they're a little bit small. So I reckon 4 to 5 days, we'll have the machines in here and we'll be ripping this baby off.
Right.
When we used to hand pick, the benefit in hand picking is you get multiple picks. You can go through a field multiple times. Yep. The downside with machine harvesting is it's one pick. You go in, you rip the vine out, take everything. Yep. Even then, it's way more cost effective. Sure. But yeah, so you got to get the perfect size. With hand picking, you can go in and you can just pick, I mean, telling a picker what to do is probably not ideal, but you can pick the right size, so to speak.
You're also picking for 1,100 McDonald stores too.
Yeah, exactly. So we just go in, we rip it all off. So those are currently out of spec. They'd be too small, but they'll grow. 4 to 5 days. Yeah. This crop will be out of here and in some tanks. The quicker you can get it off the vine, out of the field and into the tank, the fresher and the better quality product you'll have. The crispier the fruit is, and the better it is in the burger.
On average, from here to the tank, time frame?
It should be the same day.
Same day.
Yeah, it should be within 1 to 2 hours, really. Yeah, yep.
Unless something goes horribly wrong.
Something goes
breakdown.
horribly wrong, breakdowns. Yeah, like we all have those challenges as farmers, but yeah, it's a 60-day crop, so it's really fast. You can see the wheat stubble from the winter wheat crop that we sowed into. So we inter-row sow.
Yes.
We're on a 1/2 metre spacing. It's all on flat ground. There's no beds. Under centre pivot irrigators. That's interesting. They used to do flood and drip tape and things back in the day. Buried drip tape, but then you spend all your summer fixing drip tape.
So these suckers thirsty?
They are, yeah. On average, we use about 4 megs per hectare.
4 megs per hectare.
So, I mean, when you compare that with a rice or a cotton or an almonds or whatever, it doesn't sound like much. But being a 60-day crop, that's a lot of water in 60 days. Yeah. So we sort of have our pivot going around every 3rd day. It's getting a good 20 mil irrigation. And then
that every 3 days, is that based on these weather conditions, or that's sort of the general?
That's general, yeah. That's very general.
And what about this last week?
It's just flat out. It doesn't stop. I tend to. One interesting thing is we stagger our plantings. So with pickles, like I was talking about, that perfect size, you've only got a 48-hour harvest window. So if it's ready on Monday and it rains and you can't get in till Wednesday, the crop's pretty much stuffed. So you're picking watermelons and you can pick them, but you take them back to the shed and you throw them in the cattle feed, in the waste. So it's not ideal, it's a waste of time. So you move on to the next block. So our harvesters, they're only 3 metres wide. They only go 3 k's an hour. So they can do about 6 hectares in a day. So we only plant 6 hectares at a time, and then we'll wait a day, plant another 6 hectares, and we stagger it all across the summer and spread our harvest. So it's not like your typical broadacre where you'll go and sow the whole farm and then you go and harvest the whole farm. It's staggered. And it's also, you don't want to put too much pressure on the shed, like the grading shed. If you send too much fruit back there and they get backed up, then the harvester has to stop.
I understand what you're saying. So can you get bigger harvesters for this?
We've got 3. So we've built our goal, our strategy has been to build more harvesters. And then, the goal is to go to a 4 metre front. So from a 3 to a 4 metre front. And your capacity goes up,
So then your infrastructure is going to need to improve as well?
Well, potentially, increase capacity. But at the moment, we're sitting fairly comfortable. Most guys, we can work a full day. We're not here all night.
Understand.
We don't have to stress too much. We can sort of juggle it. When I first started, it was like, you're working 14, 16-hour days and now we've got a bit of a balance, which is nice, and I find the staff appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
And getting that, like you say, that good product.
Yeah, that nice balance. Excellent. The old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's right. We try and get a little bit better, but we don't blow up the whole show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the issue with the conditions is more the wind. It'll turn the vine over, and then the fruit gets actually sunburned. So, but the heat itself is not really a problem.
So because the fruit gets sunburned, but then the fruit gets sliced, does it matter?
The issue more, what happens with sunburn is it'll soften the fruit. So when it's in the tank fermenting, the whole pickle goes softer. And then when you put it through the slicer, it's mush. So you have to pull those ones out, any soft fruit, out on the sorting. So, all right.
Challenges of farming, eh? So do they come and have a look at your operation?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So they sort of crawl all over us a little bit. And it's a culture of continuous improvement, trying to get better all the time, every day. So we have our regular audits. You like you say, it's an interesting story. So often they want to come and visit and do a tour. And I was talking to the CEO yesterday, and he was saying, you know, he wants all the senior leadership team to come visit the farm in the next few months, and then go to Steggles as well and visit the Hamwood plant and everything. So
Beautiful. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So they get an understanding of what's happening on the ground level.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they're into it. You know, they're all interested. Like, and even the fact, like, we grow wheat and canola as well as our winter crops, and the wheat, you know, we grow, if we sell it to Manildra, they use some of the byproducts to make the cardboard that we pack the pickles into. You know, that's circular economy. The canola, you know, it's sold to Grain Corp. It goes to McDonald's, who use it in the fryers for the chips and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy the way it all works.
And then I suppose on top of that, you need staff to run this operation. How many people do you employ?
Yeah, we only employ 12.
12 still.
Yeah, so I mean, when you look at a McDonald's restaurant, it's like 120.
Yes.
You know, so it's pretty crazy. But there's a lot of automation, and I'm sure, as we'll explore, like, a lot of machinery does
makes you more efficient.
Makes it more efficient, and you know, being able to have that machine harvesting capability, that's where we got our Guernsey early on, and we've sort of, that's been the way we survived through the years, through the droughts, through the challenges over the last 36 years, is being more innovative and more efficient, and finding the best gear for the job, or if you can't, you build something to suit, you know what I mean? So, like, for example, even our planter is a sort of custom built bit of gear. We use Sfoggia metering units from Seraphin's, and a lot of Seraphin's gear on that. But there's bits here and there, and it's all mishmashed together. And for a lot of the time, like, the business was nearly broke. You know, when I came in 2007, I finished high school, came in and got on the sorting tables.
Dad's spending was out of control.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, mum's the one who watches the money, and
Dad spends
it. Yeah. So anyway, he won't like me saying that, but
oh well, that can always be edited.
Yeah, no, it was all good. Like, but it was sort of the midst of the millennium drought back then, so you're on the bones of you know what, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of being creative, and we had to still have to build gear. Fortunately, we're in a much better position than we were back then, and we can invest in better quality gear, because, you know, when I started, everything was old. Yeah, you never bought a tractor or an implement new.
And
everything
if you did, it was busted.
And so you're sort of forever fixing broken things.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because just recently we had a customer purchase a new Seraphim speed disc, and he said, "I've been working all these years, and today I'm buying a new implement."
Good on him. Yeah.
He said, "I think I've done my time."
Yeah. Nah, you need it. You do need it, and like we still use some of the older stuff that's been welded back together 50 times, but, you know, we're phasing that out, fortunately, and yeah, like I was telling you earlier off camera, like we got a few bits of gear from Seraphins now. We got about 6 units. We got a Hardy Navigator and a Hayes spot sprayer. I think sprayers are, you know, probably the most important bit of gear on the farm half the time. And that's our second Hardy that we've had. We've got a Softer 9 speed tiller.
Which is just over here.
And it's been bloody magic. Previous to that, we had another speed disc from Seraphins. I'm forgetting the name now.
What colour?
It was red.
So that would have been
it was a German one.
Unya.
Unya, that's right. Yeah.
Unya?
Yeah, Unya. Yeah, it was.
Which I think is Polish.
Polish, is it? Okay, yeah. So it was good. So there was 6 metres, so this is a bit wider, obviously. So
we've just got a 4 metre Unya going to South Australia this weekend.
Yeah, righto. Okay. Yeah, they're good. And they're low maintenance, and I find that the Farmit as well, the Softer 9, is nice and low maintenance. We've used, again, older discs in the past, and half the time you're doing bearings and stuff's broken and
If you
wheels are falling
don't,
off.
then you'll never appreciate the new stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So I was lucky to come into the business at a time where we didn't have the luxuries. But yeah, now it's nice to not have to worry about that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's really good. And then we just got a farm at Ripper last year, which is unreal. Hydraulic sort of breakaways. It works magic. So what we do with that is, well, we really try and Seraphin's are sort of the leader in this, I found. We've gone to a semi no-till system or a minimum till system. And so what it is, we sow our pickles into wheat stubble with disc openers. And we used to do a full tillage system. So back in 2010, 11, 12, I think, we were sort of full tillage, and previous to that. And we moved to this no-till system, disc openers. And so we went from an average farm yield of about 3 tonnes a hectare. So that's graded tonnes. So once we all the useful fruit. So when we take out all our waste, 3 tonnes a hectare was our average yield.
Average, yeah.
And in 12 months, we jumped up to 6 tonnes. So we doubled our tonnage by just going to that semi-no-till system.
And the investment's paying for itself.
The investment's paying for itself, that's right. I remember we first started doing it, and obviously you go to no-till and there's, you're sowing into stubble and there's more weed pressure and you've got to be really on the ball with everything. And Dad was like, nah, we got to go back. It's not working, And we had the conversation. We decided we need to persevere for a bit,
and little bit longer. From you?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're both hard-headed, but he let me have that one. So he's good, he's good. And we persevered through that season, and that's when we jumped up to that 6 tonne. And
also with the support and backing from Seraphin Machinery.
Right,
you said
exactly
you feel like Seraphin are a leader in that.
Yeah,
in that area?
That's right. Well, Daryl is such a smart bloke and had the wisdom.
You're gonna have to edit that.
Don't tell him I said that. No, he's bloody brilliant, and with that, his wisdom and knowledge, and I learned so much off just talking to him. And so year on year, we were able to improve yields. And last year, so 2025 harvest, we hit our record, and it was a 12 tonne average of pickles. So from 15 years ago, less than 15 years ago.
And that's not really a long time ago when you think about it, is it?
No, not at all.
And to get those sort of results, that's amazing. So
a steady grind.
Are you expecting that figure to improve again, or are you saying, that's a cap?
I mean, who knows? We'll see. We're going to start harvest next week, actually.
Really?
In a few days, we'll be starting harvest.
Oh, I'm going to give you a call and ask you to see how you go.
See how it's going. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so we have our no-till, but then post-harvest, like most irrigation guys, harvest is a bit messy. You're getting into a wet field, you chop it up. So then we really rely on tillage after that. So that's where we bring in the softer 9. The pickles are like a vine crop, so you can't go and scarify it or something. It'll wrap around everything. So you need to chop it all up. And then we go in with the ripper, we loosen it all the soil, speed till it again, and then it's ready for planting our winter crop,
Yep, and the softer 9 does a beautiful job for you.
Yeah, bloody good. Yeah,
excellent.
Very good.
How long have you had this for?
You know what? I don't know, 3 years?
3 years.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the years sort of get away on you, I think. But no, it's been really good.
And how many hectares are you cropping?
So our farm's about 1,300.
Yep.
And so most of that will get cultivated through summer. Yep. It's just so all the irrigation, there's about 800 hectares of irrigation. I'd say over 1,000 hectares a year. And the maintenance on it has been absolutely minimal. Like, it's been a dream.
Well, it is a Rolls-Royce machine, so you would expect nothing less, really.
Good, yeah. It is nice, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and then we've got an AgriMaster mulcher as well, so that's really crucial pre-planting to mulch our wheat stubble down low enough. That way we don't get sort of stubble wrapping and hairpinning through the discs when we sow. And yeah, recently we've hired the Rexter.
The Rexter, yeah.
So it's been bloody good as well. I'm really impressed so far. We've been using it for the past week, and previously we've used like knuckle chains and things to roll our canola stubble. And that's more of a cultivation, I find. This is just sort of laying it over and chopping it up.
Correct.
And it's just, yeah, it's doing a magic job.
And you've got the perfect conditions now too.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what we need. This
I think as long as it's dry,
yes.
if it was a bit green, it probably would just spring back up.
Will,
you know?
It will. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it when it's dry, it's just chopping it up nice. Like we didn't have a great canola crop this year. We had our irrigation stuff, which was good, but our dry area was not real good. So it was quite short, harvested quite low. And so you're sort of borderline, can I sow through that? But it's a little bit risky when there's, you know, here and there's quite tall ones that the header sort of went over. And it is just pulverizing them, you know, and it'll sow through easy as I don't have to do anything else. We'll just keep it clean with the sprays and it won't be a drama.
How many hectares you're looking at doing?
So we're going to do 400, I'd say, yeah. So we've probably done 300 so far. And yeah, we'll do a little bit more today and then I'll bring it back. I'm sure someone else needs it.
No, that's good. No, it's good. It's good. Because yeah, as you said, you know, the stubble has to be dry for this to be most effective.
Absolutely, yeah.
We put it in a field where the stubble was a little bit on the green side and unfortunately it wasn't as effective. So it's got to be dry, hot.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
too early when we
and I think we sprayed just before Christmas, you know, so any regrowth, it'll sort of kill that off as well. It's nice and hot and dry, you know, late January now. Yeah, it just works perfect. Like,
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
anything else you got?
I think that's about it. That's about it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, mate. Yeah, I've always wanted to do this podcast.
No worries. So did I.
Beautiful.